Hey, we're live here on all channels. VeeFriends, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm DJ Kaufman. This is the cartoonist here at VeeFriends. Today, I'm going to be working on some comic strips. We're kind of jump a little all over the place here. I got a couple strips going on. I'm going to do some like new character drawing, I think, this morning, and kind of review some of the comics so far that's been going on. Good morning, guys. My live over here on TikTok. Great. Gotta get my chat up so I can see the chat 1 second here. Great. Channels, chat. All right. Morning TikTok. Morning over on X. Cool. We are doing drawing the VeeFriends comic strip. Morning, Dan, over on YouTube. Hello, hello, hello. This is Comics and Coffee. I'm just getting fired up here, getting it going. I'm DJ Kaufman, the cartoonist here at VeeFriends, and working on all kinds of comics. So thanks for reading the comics. I appreciate you sharing them and all the kind words about the comics. We're doing a lot of work behind the scenes with the storytelling and all kinds of fun things that we're going to work on here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this canvas. First thing I think I want to do is kind of just review the comic before I show the comic of today. Not sure if the comic of today went up or not. Let me just look real quick. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll just show it anyways. Okay. So yesterday's comic was the girl that had lied. No one believes her anymore. Classic. Got Honest Honeybee. It's Honest Honeybee week. Hey, good morning, Nathan. Over on Twitch. Dan. Hey guys on TikTok. What's up? This is the VeeFriends daily comic stream, or daily comic drawing. So she wants to know how to rebuild trust. Now we could see Gary B and Honest Honeybee here doing rebuilding the word trust brick by brick. It's good as new. Sometimes when things are broken, you put them back together, they're good as new. Some gold bricks there. Not gold, but golden colored bricks. And then sometimes it all falls apart. You need to start all over again. Grateful Gar. Gotta be grateful. Favorite character? Gotta be grateful for the time that we're here. That's right. For sure. Okay. Let's get into today's comic strip. We're just going to read this live. I think that's fun to do. So the setup here is we've got Flex and Fox flexing that he's got 5,000 followers this week. He's like, boom, did it. And 555 fans here on his, looks like they're on an airplane. 555 fans like, wow, that's great. Congrats. Cheering him on. He's happy for his friend here. And then 555 fan is like, hey, how did you do it? I've been struggling. Fox is like, simple, you got to keep it authentic. Fox is all about keeping it authentic. And Honest Honeybee's like, be honest now. Like, hey, listen, we're trying not to use the it's just so easy to go and say the B in Honest Honeybee week. So be honest now. He's like, all right, I confess. So he's looking a little sheepish here. And the reveal is he said they think I'm big in real estate and own this private jet. 555 fan. It's like this isn't a jet. They're on a set of some kind, like an influencer set. Honeybee's flying away, saying exactly. So, a lot of influencers out there flexing with rentals and things. So it's kind of the idea. So kind of a fun setup there. A little bit about honesty on social media. Cool. Okay, I gotta pull up my board. I don't know where I did that. Morning over on TikTok. A couple of you over there. Hey Lola over on where are you? You're in Florida, but you're on YouTube. Well, good morning. Good morning from Florida. Hope you have good weather there today. All right, I'll put up my board to see what I've got to. If I'm working on, I think I'm gonna do some character study drawings today. So I want to start with see where I'm at here. Okay. Okay. So we're going to work a little bit with Generous Gerbil. I've got him on another sheet here that I'm going to look at. One moment. I know staring at this blank screen isn't fun. Let's get that. Let's get that going. Okay. So I'm just going to draw to get myself loosened up here. I'm going to draw some VeeFriends characters. So we're going to start with Generous Gerbil. I'm going to draw his basic shape. He's got more of like a kind of a big belly. He's got more of a diamond, not diamond head, but whatever this shape is here. It's more of like a oblong triangle or something. I'm just going to go ahead and just, what I'm doing here is I'm working on just the silhouette of the character, because, well, good poses and whatnot always have a great silhouette. It doesn't look like anything yet, but this is how I like to start. I'm usually doing this a lot smaller as well. Okay, that small. Draw that. Turn that up. I want to draw a couple different poses of Generous Gerbil just to get my pencil moving for the morning. Here, it's the same pose. We want to just do kind of like a, don't want to worry too much about when I'm doing this. It's more like the proportion, and he's got kind of a wispy little tail. I didn't pull up in any real reference here. Got from the gerbil that I drew before, and I want to do like a hand on his hips, not hands on his hips, like a crossed-armed, like folded arms is what we're saying right now. Struggling with words this morning. I need more coffee. I'm only on my first cup here, so yeah, these are just what we would call like roughs or silhouettes, because you want to have the actual pose. Because people were always saying, like, to me, they're like, oh, DJ, you do such a good job with the the posing and the expression. So part of cartooning is like getting those poses down. So let's just start with those. It's a little more interesting to see. I'm gonna fade that out a little bit, and then I'm gonna come in here with a darker pencil. And now I got like the proportion of his body. So we're not gonna like get things all wonky. If you're drawing things fast, sometimes the heads are a little bit bigger, and you know, I want to make sure that you're kind of keeping things tight. All right, cool. Change this brush size. Genie OG says that's already better than my drawings. Well, you know, you got to start somewhere. Donnie over on TikTok. What software is this? This is Procreate that I'm using here on an iPad Pro. Pretty much the same concept as regular drawing, but instead I've got my pencil brushes in here, and I guess speed-wise, you know, you can. There's not really shortcuts per se because you have to still know how to draw, but I like that you can double tap and undo and things like that. So draw a quick center line there, real light. Jonas Gerbil has like a little tiny nose, and he's got this big, usually a big toothy smile. So we're just going to start with this classic toothy Joker-like grin. And I like if the top layer of teeth are a little smaller than, or a little bit bigger, I mean. He also has an interesting pattern on his face, which I'll get to that in a second. First, I want to draw his top cheeks, and then we'll do the first eye here, second eye here. I've been thinking a lot about not animation per se, not the actual movement of the characters, but the cartooning of the characters. And there's great old animators and illustrators, cartoonists like Bob Clampett, and old school Bugs Bunny animation and things like that. Those were some of my, I don't know if they were my favorites when I was a kid, but definitely classics. I appreciate them more that I'm older now, for sure. So. Fun thing about comics, talking the word comics and not just animation. It's nice to have comics moving and doing things like this, the ones that you'll see on social media. We're really trying to do things a little bit different when they come out, or different versions of it. So I love seeing those things that Becky is doing, and we sent, and even our internal creators like VeeFriends. I love to see the comics moving around and like inspiring people to make that stuff. It's really cool because that's the magic of comics, really. When I'm thinking of just comics, the word comics, is that the art of comics, you can do such a simple drawing, simple, not easy, but you have a static image, and then the imagination of the movement is happening in your mind from panel to panel. That's the magic of storytelling and the magic of comics as a medium. So there are people out there that are like, oh, comics, that's like old. You need to have it moving in animation. I almost feel like animation takes longer, and it's sort of the easy way out. It's like showing every single step. Not much. We're spoon feeding you exactly what we want you to see when it's in animation, which is nothing wrong with that. Um, that's a good storytelling device. But what I'm saying is the magic of comics is it allows you, the reader, to have your own imagination about what's going to happen next. Like, even just looking at this one image here of he's got to have a bigger bag of money. He should have a ridiculous bag of money. Let's do that. So that's the challenge for a cartoonist like myself, is how can I draw a single image just like this and have you, the friend and reader, think about it. Think about the story and like what's going on, what's going to happen next. And you're imagining it in your mind. So in a lot of ways, when I think about VeeFriends, and I think about VeeFriends an awful lot, which I love it. I love it. But a lot of times when I'm thinking about VeeFriends and I'm like, well, we had some animations and we had things that were going on before, but people were making up their own stories. I know Ryan has got his gnome world, and like using the imagination, it's such a awesome thing to where it almost feels like, when you see those trading cards, even people don't know the story behind most of the characters on the cards, and honestly, like a lot of the characters that are existing, we're still figuring it out. We're still adding things to that. All right, now that the bag's in front, I want to put his tail down here. Okay. So that's the fun part for us, is we're still figuring it out too. To some of the characters, there's over 280 characters here, so it's not like there's detailed stories on every single one, but adding something beyond the surface. The surface is, I'm just diving deep here talking about storytelling, and it's been on my mind a lot. So, and if you have any thoughts about this, Pranay, I saw your Insta message. I don't know, probably have not sent you an Insta message, my friend. But if you saw my message, well, cool. I don't know what you mean. But I'm talking about storytelling here. And, like for you to go, what is this character, thinking? What else do I got here? Try to do this up real quick so I can show the. I'm gonna change my autofocus. There we go. And then I can go like this, and I can just show you the new what? Today's VeeFriend Mini on my pencil is Flexin' Fox. I'm also lacking the lighting here. What's going on? Oh, there we go. There, that's what I wanted it to do. Like a nice autofocus. Flexin' Fox, he's a little beat up. Mine's a little beat up. Detailed mini there. Still fun. TikTok, sorry. Can't see it. Flexin' Fox is on the tip of my pencil there. Morning, Steve. A few of you over there on TikTok. Appreciate you watching. Some people will say, like, hey, we want to see what your hands are doing over here. So I'm trying to get a good view for you as far as like what my hands are doing. Let's just zoom way out for me. If I zoom way out, I'm trying to figure this out. I want the TikTok folks to be able to see the screen better. So there you go. You're going to see a little bit of the drawing. And I like to put the VeeFriend sticker in the scene a little bit. Just cause, it's cool. Anyways, visual storytelling. I think it's the most magical when you see something and you're able to, as a reader to make up the story in your mind. Lilden, on what program are you drawing? This is Procreate on the iPad Pro. And really what I'm doing here, for those that are wondering, I have layers here. So, I've got the layer for my pencils is here. Turn that off and on. I have a layer for roughs, which I did the roughs earlier. They're just kind of like the shapes of the characters I'm about to kind of go in on a little bit. And then my line art. And I'll just keep adding layers above it as we go, but I like to keep that silhouette. I can fade that out with my finger like that. It's kind of neat. And I'm just kind of doing some practice with a couple characters that will be appearing in the comic strip. And just kind of figuring out poses and loosening up a little bit before we get into an actual comic. Hey, Miami Mike, what's up? Hope it's good down there. Miami. Really good Cuban food down there one time. Can't remember the name of the place. It'll come to me. I'll kind of just work on changing the expression here. Yeah, so there's differences between storytelling and animation, movies, TV. Comics are such a powerful medium because I think it really does bring you, the reader, along in a different way. If that makes sense. Especially just a static image. We've got the standalone cards going on the, if you're new to VeeFriends, I'm going to show you real quick. We have the VeeFriends website here. I'm going to go big here for a second. We've got the VeeFriends.com, and there's the trading cards, and the characters are just kind of sitting there, and people have their favorite cards based on Intuitive Iguana there. And you kind of start applying your own story to what the character means to you. That's kind of powerful just in a standalone way. Here we have the minis. You can collect these in vending machines around the country. There's a map on the website. You can find them, or find them on eBay too. Different character toppers for your pencil squishies. I like them because I can draw them on my iPad. I do that a lot. What I'm thinking. So yeah, comics. You can get a lot of story into just a one image or just a couple panels. And honestly, I feel like when we try to put too much in, sometimes we want to have a balance of, or we always want to have a balance of, we want to have these good feeling lessons and things, but also some fun. I wanted to be looking directly at the reader. That's a little weird. This is Generous Gerbil. And as I'm drawing them and writing them and thinking, talking to the team, talking to Gary about the different characters, we explore, what does generosity mean? What is, honesty? The layers of the word honesty, brutally honest. Are people hiding the way that they feel because they don't want to have you worry, or things like that? Just different aspects of it. What affects your life you know? He's kind of cheering in this one. It's kind of like, I don't know what I want his hand to be doing there, but it's up. Like, you did it, kind of. Right. A little bit bulkier body. He's got like a, you know, he definitely has a belly going on there. Mike said, that's his VF2 generous gerbil. So if you're not familiar, like, you can go on the website and look up the different characters, and there's links to like get a digital collectible and an NFT. There's shirts. There's all kinds of stuff that you can vibe with different characters that you like. So people ask me all the time now who my favorite VeeFriend is, and it's really hard because the cop out is like, I'm like whichever one I'm drawing at the moment, because it's really helped me think about different issues in a different way, even just kind of calmly, and to myself, like, how am I going to talk about generosity? How am I being generous if I'm talking about generous gerbil here? Honesty. We can talk about honesty because it's Honest Bee Week in the comic. I feel like I could talk a little bit more about honesty. I used to be really bluntly honest with my feelings and stuff with people. Just like whatever feeling was on my mind, I would just like bluntly say it unapologetically. And I would sometimes probably hurt. Well, not. I know that when I was much younger, I did this. I would just say things without thinking them through. And maybe I didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but since I just blurted it out, and I thought that was like, I'm just being honest. My honest opinion or whatever, but it wasn't always necessarily factual, or it was my honest truth that I was spitting. And you don't know when you're hurting someone's feelings sometimes, and then when you find out that you did, I think that's the process of change, that you mature and grow up. So now I'm not guarded with the truth. I mean, I remember one time in publishing, I almost got a job working on a book that I really wanted to draw for a big company. And the editor told me that I was dangerous because I was honest. And that just echoes in my brain. Because my whole life I was told, see what I'm doing here? Like, look at this. I'm actually like crossing my arms to see like which side naturally the fold would be on. Sorry, TikTok, you can't see that, but so if I'm going like that, and I'm like, okay, that arm needs to go, this arm needs to go up and over. A lot of times, I'm not a mirror guy, but a lot of times artists will have mirrors at their desk to do like wacky expressions in the mirror. I don't really do that. I can see why it would work, but very long arms, but it's okay. But yeah, that always bothered me, because when you're a kid, my dad taught me, don't lie. Lie when you're a kid. You tell little white lies and things. And if someone asks you your honest opinion, tell them. Well, for dishonest people, I guess they don't want to have honest people around. They want to, we can't have that guy around because he's too honest. That's what that felt like. It was like, man, I've never been told that before my entire life. Done everything I'm supposed to do and told that I'm dangerous because I'm too honest. Then that disillusions you a little bit. Makes you double think, like, should I not? Should I just keep that to myself? But the answer for me was for that was like, I guess I don't really want to work with that person if they feel that way, that they don't want to have an honest, they don't want honest feedback, or they don't want an honest person around. Like they feel like I'm going to get them in trouble or something because I'm too honest. They must be doing something that's, not honest or something. Like hide that from him or something. Don't say it around DJ, because that's how it was when I was in my 20s. But my solution to that was just to find the right people. Right. But it's sad because like you want to, you're like, you have this feeling of like, I want to work with these people or this company. And then when you get in, they're just kind of like not the most honest people. Kind of sucks, to be frank. But I think that's why it's refreshing to work with everybody at VeeFriends, because there's definitely a vibe of like, we can tell each other things. I don't feel, I feel very, I don't know what the words are for that. I feel very comfortable. If I ever were to have a problem or something, I know I could talk to them, and Andy and Gary and the team. I could just, I think I like people that appreciate that honesty and then don't get too what are you doing, kid? The cat is going in and out. Go on. You gotta go? Oh. Okay. So long. Yeah. But some of these topics are, some of these traits that our characters have at VeeFriends, they're not easy to talk about. Like, when was the last time, if we're talking about generous gerbil, when's the last time you donated to charity? Now, again, I think when you're younger, you get kind of jaded. Hey, what's up, Rocky? Yeah, we're on TikTok. Just kind of glance up occasionally and I see the comments. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm working on some just character poses and things for the different characters. Working on gerbil here. Generous gerbil. So there's always like if we're honest with ourselves when we're talking about traits. So if I'm thinking about generosity and I'm by myself, or even when we're doing like deep brainstorms about the characters, if I'm thinking about generosity, I'm thinking like, I like to give to charities and things this is me as a 48-year-old. I like to give to charities when I can, and people in need and stuff like that I see, or surprise them, even just they don't even know it's me. If I could do more of that, I would do that. Love what Mr. Beast does with a lot of that stuff too. Not just like the prizes and things that he gives away, but like the generosity and the philanthropy. But it's also not just about money. Generosity, it's about time. I try to give my time and attention to a lot of artists that reach out to me and have questions. because that's what I would have wanted whenever I was, out there looking for inspiration or whatnot. That's a cool. It's a little bit different there. Let's try one that I haven't tried before. I'm just kind of in a swaggy mamba. Turbo vibes, that's right. Oh, we put up an IG story about the name. Which name do you want, Swaggy Mamba? You want Swaggy Mamba? Let's go. Tell me, quick. You want gerbil vibes? Is that what you want? Confirm. You want me to write gerbil vibes? All right, let's do it. I'm gonna do it. Change up the color here. We're gonna go over here. I want PN11. All right, let's do it. Let's just do some of this. Gerbil vibes. Change up the color to like purple. Put like the spacing for the letters down. Haven't done that in a while. So if you see it and then you can ask and I'll practice. I'll start with something like that and then that's basically just for me spacing out the letters, and then I'll just kind of come in here and I'll work on darkening this up. Go ahead and make some nice cartoon letters in here. So I was talking about generosity, and when I was in my 20s, it's so weird to go through the different stages of life. When I was in my 20s, I didn't have a lot of money to give to things, and I was very jaded about. I thought like, oh, none of this money is going to where it's supposed to go, and you know what I'm talking about. Spelling it right? Yeah. And then I feel like something happened. If I'd see like commercials on TV, they're like, donate money to this thing. I'm like, it's not really going to where it's supposed to go. And then I feel like something happened in my 30s where, like, late 20s, early 30s, when I'm raising kids too. And I think I found causes that just felt like I want to do something about that, but I can't. I don't have the know-how. And I would just start donating money to, like, there was one that helped get art supplies for kids in school. And I was donating to that. I would only buy products there was a notebook company where like 10% of their products went towards buying, doing art classes for kids. I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I didn't have time to do an art class for kids, but I was like, all right, cool. But if I'm using sketchbooks, I want to make sure that part of the proceeds are going to something. That felt good. I think it just kind of escalates into thinking about how can you take what you're already currently doing, and a little bit of what you're doing or paying is going towards something. And then I got to look in the back end. I got to look at the back end of the nonprofit world too. Now that I'm thinking about it, when I worked with the Flowbots, they started a nonprofit called Flowbots.org, which is now Youth on Record. And Youth on Record was allowing kids from like the inner city or troubled homes or bad situations to write their stories as songs and record them and bring them in and teach them how to like record a rap or music, songwriting. And I was like, man, that's cool. I'd love to do that with comics. But I worked with them on that. So there's gerbil vibes. You know, I might spend too much more time on this one. Zoom out a little bit so you can get all of it. For a screenshot there, swaggy. Get to practice. What else we got? PN11. I'm going to go ahead and shade this in though because I'm just feeling it. I also have to start working on some. You wouldn't think that I am right now, but I'm actually working on comics while we're doing this because my brain is thinking about this fella right here. And the poses and, you know, actually loosening up the hand a little bit is all part of the process for getting going in the morning. But yeah, it's fun to think about. It's fun to think about these traits. It's not an excuse, but man, it's a really good excuse to think about these traits when you normally wouldn't in your day. You're waking up and you're like, gotta go to work, gotta do this, busy, 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 busy. And you're like, to really sit and meditate on what does it mean to be generous? Am I actually being generous or am I just phoning it in? Can I do more? Right? That's where my brain goes. Um, am I doing enough? You know, that kind of thing. All right, PN11. Franny, let's go. I didn't know that they were putting up a message today. That's good though. Let's do it. So there's your gerbil vibe. Let's get a good screenshot there for Mr. Gerbils in there. All right, good. Swaggy, we can. Oh, sorry, have to log out for now. Hey, Franny, come back. The YouTube, you can check it out. Timestamp this at 42 minutes in. Wow, have I been going for 42 minutes? Holy smokes. Nice. PN11. I'm going to get it. Let's go. Real quick, and then I got to jump to. Give this shape like this. Let's give him a cool. Spent too much time on that gerbil lettering up there, but that's okay because it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it. Is that PN11 or PN11? Is this a joke? Is this like a PN11? I could totally get pranked right now because it's super in the morning. If you're like, hey DJ, can you draw me whatever? Then you turn it upside down. It says boobs or something like that. I can totally access. You got me. You got me. I'm one of those guys that looks at license plates and tries to figure out if it's an actual vanity license plate or not. But in this case, I'm going to say that it's Pranny's PN 1. It's his password. It's Brandy's password for all of us. All right. That's for Brandy. Okay. That's it for the names for right now. What happened to that restaurant in New York City? I don't know what you mean, JP. There's a lot of restaurants in New York City. All right. I'm going to jet over to my board real quick and see where I'm at. All right. Now I'm going to just jump into actually take one last look at today's comic. Flex and Fox has got 5,000 followers this week. By the way, this is the VeeFriends daily comic strip. If you're just checking in, wondering what this is, we have a daily comic strip. He's got 5,000 followers this week. 555 fans like, wow, that's great. They appear to be on an airplane. He's like, how do you do it? I've been struggling. He's like, simple. You got to keep it authentic. And then the B's like, be honest now. And Fox is like, okay, I confess. Wasn't being very honest. He's like, they think that I'm big in real estate and I own this private jet. And 555 fan is like, this isn't a jet. They're like on a set. And the B's like, exactly. I've actually seen this happen, which is really funny. I remember a bunch of influencers paying money to like go to this set that was like that. And they're like, it costs like $500, but we can take pictures on it. So they're like, what? It's totally true. There was another one where they took a road trip. They were like, it was an influencer road trip where it was like, everybody gets on this bus. You go out into the middle of the desert. You pack a lunch. They didn't even give you your lunch. And by the way, this product's not going to be the burrito phone. Let's just get rid of the lettering here. I'll be working on this panel. Burrito phone, love it. It's going to be something different. Just do that in there. So same concept, I've got a rough here for a comic. Now we're going to work on the actual illustration. For a bit. What was I saying? Oh, influencers. So I had a lot of influencer friends at my old job before job. I did merch and stuff I worked at a merch company. And I got to work with a lot of different influencers anyways. They would go on these trips where they would take a photographer or a videographer with them. They would pay money, sometimes like $500 to just go on this trip. They'd go out in the middle of the desert and there's like setups. They would take like photo shoots for, they would get probably a month's worth of social content on these trips. So it was worth it to them. They'd go to mansions. That was the same trip. They went to a mansion. They shot for like a couple hours at this mansion, and then they went to the middle of the desert. Very efficient. There's companies out there that charge to do that. I just thought it was funny, because I'm like, can I just drive my car into the desert and just take some pictures and maybe bring a friend that knows photography? But there's more to it than that. I understand. This is more about the setup of the panel. There's going to be a long table. And we're going to have the back of, I kind of want to move him here actually. will be B's head and his back. His antennas. I won't give too much away about this gag. I'm just gonna, this joke or this concept, not gag. It's a wing. Morning Corso over on TikTok. What's up? It's very light over on TikTok. What's going on? People pop in and out at TikTok, so it's hard to reset the stream every time, but hopefully we can see making comics. What else? I gotta put a little note here. Let's make one real fast. Let's just say hi. Say hi, and then read comics. Let's just do that. I need to get myself some like pre-printed. I don't know. I said something about getting pre-printed signs. Guys, you don't know what I'm doing over here. Making these little signs for TikTok so that they can see, like, read comics, say hi. For people that aren't. Say hi, read comics. Making comics. All right, that's good enough. Good enough, TikTok. Just because people fly in and out with their sound off, they can't really see what I'm doing. So here I've got the B. By the way, I'm curious, for anybody listening right now that can hear me, which view do you like of this? Do you like this view on the camera? Not TikTok, sorry, you only get one view. It's just how it is right now. But on the other channels, do you like this view with the two panels so you can see my hands and the other screen? Or do you like, well, no one wants to see this view of just me talking and that? Or do you like it zoomed out with my little head down there and you can see more of the art? Because I've had people say different things, but I'm just curious what you like. So comment and let me know which view you like. Sometimes people like want to say like, "Where's your hands? Are you real?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm real. At least I believe I'm real, or we're in a simulation. I don't know." You know. So in this case, we've got a room full of like people with a product that they're showcasing. It's not the burrito phone. I'm going to change that. The burrito phone was just something I put in as a placeholder. Although I hope you've, tried burrito phone. It's a lunch. It's a phone. So get a little laptop here. Not really sure if that's necessary to put that laptop right there, so I'm going to get rid of that. Kind of just following this rule of cartooning of remove what is unnecessary. But I do want to have a little character here. I just don't know which character it is. Maybe he'll have a little laptop. I'm sure we have a little insect character I can put in there. So let's rough that in. I know who this is. Love it. This man's clapping. Ooh, all right. I like it. Perfect. This little insect character, Lilden. I like the interaction here because I didn't have I wanted to have a little guest star there, but Lilden said make that little insect character the "You're Gonna Die" fly. I love that idea. He's, perfect for that spot. Let's do it. Let's get in there. Let me just pull him up real quick. I know what he looks like, but so, I know what he looks like, but I want to make sure that I'm nailing it. It's the first time I'm going to draw him in the comic. Good call. Good call. I got that. More of a. Was those antennas that threw it, right? You saw the antennas and you were like, that should be the fly. I like that. Thanks, dude. Also, cool character shape, and also, very good lesson. Don't want to get too dark here, but it's true. We have very limited time on the earth. So I hope you're doing something that you enjoy. If you're stuck in a position where you're like not happy, you're here right now. So that's a good start. You're in the right spot. VeeFriends is the right spot to be. If you're feeling kind of if you're not satisfied with where you are, you're pushing and grinding for something more, then I think VeeFriends is right where it's at. You got a lot of good people around you. Let's just go full tongue on. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm doing it. Easy enough. He's got the little nubbin hands. Put him on a little laptop. That'll be a good sticker for Corso to crop out. His little fly wings will be. I'll fix it up a little bit more. Little head. Little not head. Foot there that's holding his laptop. It's a fun one. It's good. Change the laptop a little bit. If my eraser would work, that'd be great. There you go, man. That's your little addition. Is it? Thanks, Lilden. Lilden? Thanks. First time in the strip. I'm just doing the rough pencils on this one for right now. Got to get moving. Having fun though, you know. Yesterday I had a lot of fun writing, and I've been doing a lot more like writing behind the scenes. So some days that throws my day off because I'm like, oh man, I did all the writing and I didn't do any of the drawing yet. And I'm like, oh. So Andy last night was like, hey, it's probably too late to give you a suggestion. But I'm like, nope. Still got to finish. Still got time. Still got time. Part of the creation process, you know, is not something that you can just do in a 30-minute call, or you know, it can't just be like, hey, the timer's on, you got 1 hour, come up with beautiful ideas. Like sometimes things take time to ruminate and think about, and you got to do some sketching, and a lot of things get thrown away that you don't see. Not every line gets published, you know. Some ideas got to go to the burner, just scrap them, or they go to the what I call the graveyard, where they're not dead, they can be resurrected. They're kind of just in this limbo because they might not be, the idea might not be ready for right now. But I think that all ideas have their time, you know. Some, not all ideas, but a good amount of ideas have their time, let's say. I recognize this fella. It's like our bare minimum Bob. Maybe he got his new job that he was looking for. You see, if you're following the comic, you know that the last time we saw Bare Minimum Bob, he was with Fearless Fairy and he wasn't happy about his job. He looks pretty happy here. Kind of wanted that. The next time I saw Bare Minimum Bob, I wanted him to be looking happy, because maybe he got a job that he liked, that he could excel at. But you know, old habits die hard, Bob. I don't want that tangent of this. I don't want to do hands on the hips. I just want to kind of have his hand right here. Which means it's got to come back. Connect. We'll ink that in and make that tighter. I can't decide if I want him to be wearing a suit. I think that maybe if they're in the office, they're not wearing a suit. He's just wearing his sleeves rolled up version of Bare Minimum Bob. Come on, man. Come on. And he's looking happy, you know. Like, there we go. Burrito phone. It's not the burrito phone. That's a joke. Change that. This will just be the back of someone's head. It's not really that important. Really, this character here is just like there to show you that there's other people in the room for right now. I can put their little chair on. That'll be black. He's clapping, saying he loves it. I'm not a big fan of this arm right now. I'm gonna just, see, this is what I mean, like sometimes you gotta kind of work it a little bit. Look at his torso, there's his belt. He's standing up there. I'm gonna turn his tie this way. And then I'm gonna put his hand right here. His rolled up sleeve. Because I just remembered that Bare Minimum Bob has his red pen. So that's what he's going to be holding right there. So a lot of it's just drawing through. Looks a little messy, but this is a rough pencil, so I'm not too worried about it. This is how all the comics kind of start. He's showing off a product here. Not too worried about what that product is right now. I know what it is, but it's not the burrito phone, even though it's funny. What's up, Paul? Over on X. I'd say we get most of our, this is the time of day where I think some of the West Coast crowd starts to come off. You know, you missed some character sketching earlier today. You can probably rewind it. Different people waking up, getting to their jobs. If anybody's listening right now and can hear my voice, I'm just curious. I always ask it, but I'm like, why VeeFriends? Like, what about VeeFriends made you want to vibe with it? How did you discover it? A lot of people through Gary. Other people found it, randomly through NFTs but now that you're in it, what makes you stay? Like, what is it about VeeFriends that you really dig? I'm curious. Like, I'm always putting together, research on things, just thinking about stuff. I see Andy's over in the chat. Don't worry, Andy, this isn't the burrito phone. It's just the, it's going to be something else, man. I was like, we need a product that's appeared in the strip. And I'm like, I think the only product that I have thought of was burrito phone. Somebody mentioned that to me in New York when I was there. It was such a one-off joke, but people liked it. So just a goofy thing. So I'm gonna fade this out. Can the product maybe be, hey, look at Lilden here. He's like helping me write this comic today. I like it. Can the product be Rare Robot? Interesting. All right, I stay for the community, Paul says. I'm gonna put that on the screen, Paul. So the next question for you, Paul, if you're listening, we're gonna do like a little quiz. You stay for the community, the supportive energy, and that the belief Gary is building out something great. So if I would say like supportive energy and community, like what other things in your life, maybe if you're comfortable saying, like, are there other things in your life that you could do that with? Having supportive energy, a sense of community, like you're choosing VeeFriends for that, to fit that job. You've hired VeeFriends for that. Is there anything else that you did before VeeFriends? Or is there anything else that you vibe with that would fill that? Is there another IP that you follow? You collect something? Because there's these different communities and different spots. I'm always trying to think about that. Like what makes people. This is what I should do. I should just have like an interview with people while we're trying. It really helps the team to think about what other community aspects would you do. If VeeFriends didn't exist, how would you seek out that? Would you just, some people told me that, they found VeeFriends because they were just surfing around and they stumbled on it and it looked cool, the card game and that. So that's interesting. So they were just searching for something, right? They were lacking that sense of belonging or community or maybe like real friends in their real life or something, but I was curious. That's a wonderful answer, Paul. It almost feels similar to how I'd feel when I once hung out with all my cousins. I won't go deeper into like market research with you, Paul, but I'm like, what did you and your cousins do? Like play football or just hang out, have a good time, play video games? I think when I was a kid, and I had a lot of cousins. I used to like to go see them at like a water campground, water park. And we just hang out and have fun, play video games. Watch movies. So it's interesting that you said cousins because of it's like the family thing. Like it has a family feel to it. It's interesting to me. I like that. Rocky over on TikTok says NFTs brought him in. Kindness and community keeps me here. Keith over on TikTok said he's listened to the Lives of the Stoics audiobook. He's almost finished it. It was a great recommendation. Lives of the Stoics by Ryan Holiday. It's really neat. A lot of cool. I like books like that tell you different stories throughout of historical people or situations. I just learned about Jane Austen this morning in the book that I'm reading. I'm currently reading Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. I don't have it handy or I'd show it. Slow Productivity. He was the writer of the book Deep Work that I love. And slow productivity was about. We keep ourselves busy with so much pseudo productivity. Like we think we're busy little bees. But then at the end of the day, you're like, what did I actually do today? Have you ever had that? So like focusing on, I'm still reading the book, but like it's about like how can you do not less things, but like less things more effectively and kind of lean into the quality of the thing that you're specializing in. That's kind of the vibe that's going on with that book. I like it. I don't read a lot of um, fiction. I read a lot of nonfiction, I'd say. Paul, that's super interesting. I've actually written that down too, just because I'm thinking of like, I don't want to call people avatars or like personas or anything like that. I know that that's a real thing in marketing, but I always think of things like on the human level, like the behavior, what what really vibes about VeeFriends for people besides the collectability and the because right now if I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking out loud. This is from what I've observed in drawing this fly is making me laugh. Um, being here for a little while now, there's these. I don't want to say personas because I don't like that. I don't like the words persona because it just feels so bleh. But there's definitely a group of segment of people that are just collectors and they don't really care about the characters. And I'm like, man, come on. So my challenge to them would be like, how do we get them to care about the characters instead of just the investment? That's probably impossible. I come from comic books. So I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. I like talking through this. I like thinking this through, thinking out loud. But in comic books, we had speculators, which kind of has a bad connotation. It's not. It's like a speculative market, comic books. And I remember when Death of Superman happened, my dad owned a comic book store. Long story there, but very briefly. Really not a great comic book store, really. Sorry, Dad. Long story, I'll explain later. It leads me to hold on different stories. It was a bad comic book store because there was an Avon counter in it. I'll just leave it at that. Ask me some other time and I'll tell you that story. Anyways, Death of Superman came out. It was all over the TV. Oh, they're killing Superman. You got to buy this book. And my dad sold so many comics. People were lining up that had never been to a comic book store before, and the comic book industry thought, this is great for comics. Let me know if this sounds familiar, any of you NFT folks out there, or the video game people, or anything, entertainment. So everybody said, oh, this is going to be great for comics. Look at all these new readers. They're coming in, they're buying, and like mostly it was parents that were buying these comics because they were like, I'm going to put my kid through college with Death of Superman. And it felt real. Like it felt like, holy cow, I should get a couple of these. And then what happened was DC Comics. This was a very big moment in time in the comic book industry. It really changed things. And they polybagged that comic. They put it in a bag. So you had to tear it open to read it. And that ruined the value of it. So speculators would just buy like tons of them. Anyways, a couple months later, DC Comics was like, guess what? It's the return of Superman. And they put out 5 different Supermen. And they were all polybagged, and now the covers were white. And people came into the comic book store and were mad. They were like, you told me this was going to be, this was supposed to be. And it was like, that was just the store, right? People were mad at DC Comics for doing that. DC never said, like, we promise you Superman's going to be dead forever and this comic's going to be worth $1 million. What happened was, I'm just guessing, like, DC Comics sold a ton of Supermans, polybagged, and then the folks on the corporate side were like, we need more of that. Let's make more polybags. Well, how do we do that? Superman's dead. We kill him. They're like, well, bring him back. Let's bring back 5 of them. put out 5 different issues, and then it's like it became and people did collect those too, but then now if you go to comic book back issue bins, it really killed something in the comic industry, all that speculation. But there were still hardcore collectors of that stuff who held on, right? And those comics are still like there's a few of those comics that are graded are worth a few $100, you know? We see that with any market too. So anyways, that's how I look at one segmentation of people that I encounter in the VeeFriends universe, are people that collect but they don't care about the characters. And that bums me out because, you know, I'm hired to make people fall in love with the characters, right? I want you to fall in love. Gary wants you to fall in love with the characters. Because the more people that fall in love with the characters and actually vibe with these things, the better it is for the entire ship and all the boats. That's kind of what I'm saying. No one else said that to me. It's me talking here, but I think I'm right. The more the cards do well, the more people get excited, the more people have fun. Then there's the animations, there's the comics, there's other things. It'll just keep growing and growing. Like if you believe Gary, then he's in it, man. This is his Pokemon Sesame Street epic IP that we're going to build. We're just starting. So it's very, very good. So anyways, the segment of people that speculate and don't care about the characters and only want things, that bums me out personally, because I'm like, oh man, which character are you vibing with? And they go, I don't really know. I'm not really, I'm just here because. I'm like, yeah, but now that you're here, you see, now I got you. Now that you're in the door, which character are you vibing with? Which one do you like? What topic should we talk about today? Like, what and I feel like there is then that second layer of VeeFriends fan who now was a speculator or just came in thinking like, I don't know what this is. I'm just in it. It looks cool. I'm going to do it. And then now they actually do care about the characters. And that's magic. Like, that's cool. Because the energy brought you in. And now you're like, wow, you know what? This is making my life better somehow, in some way. That's even how I feel drawing the strip. You know, beyond it being a really cool job to have, I just really enjoy listening to the fans, the readers, the friends, community, and seeing that like things that we say or do is helping them get through their day, or the characters are making them think about life differently, and it makes me think about life differently. Like I was saying earlier, topics about generosity and getting honest with yourself. Self-awareness, to be like, hey, when was the last time I gave to a charity? Or when was the last time I was feeling generous? Instead of what's the opposite of generous? So that's another layer to the onion storytelling with these characters is, you know, what's the opposite of generosity? It's greed, I guess, hoarding for yourself, selfishness. Because the definition of generous is like giving more than was asked to do. Nobody asked you to do that, and you were just feeling good at giving. Honesty, of course, the opposite of honesty is lying, but that's tough because anybody that says that they've never told a lie, they're not being honest with themselves. They might have told a white lie because you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, or you hid something because you just didn't want to talk about it. They asked you if you were okay, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm good, all good." That would technically be a lie, but you don't want to burden them with your stuff, right? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's impossible to just totally be blatantly off the sleeve. You don't, because if you're not careful, you can hurt people's feelings, or come off a different way. You got to be self-aware of how you're thinking it through. Even the way we word things now matters, right? It's just a job in and of itself. Being mindful of not hurting people's feelings, and then if you do hurt someone's feelings or make a person feel bad, and you didn't do it on purpose. I mean, even if you did it on purpose, you're a jerk, but don't do that. But if you accidentally hurt someone's feelings and you find out, then you want to try to make it right, and sometimes they don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk to you. But then you're like, okay, cool, maybe you've ruined a friendship or something like that. You're like, dang, I should have done this, or I should have done that. And now there's nothing you can do. So what you got to do is you just got to be mindful of that for the next time, right? Remember the things that you messed up on, or that you were like, oh man, I shouldn't have said it like that. I didn't mean to say it like that. And then you're like, all right, cool. So next time, just measure your words. And it's tough because we try to teach, people. There's a book, Candor, whatever it's called. And then Gary's got Kind Candor. I forget the name of the book that's about candor, but it's like, you should tell that person they smell bad because they've never been told. And I kind of agree, but that's also uncomfortable. Like, I've been in that situation too. Like I said, if you're the manager, the adult in the room, you have to be the one that takes the hit. And you're like, oh man, why do I got to be the one? Someone's got to be the one. Because if a person doesn't get the proper feedback, or adulting sucks sometimes. You can't just be like, you can't be neutral on a moving train. That's a good quote. You can't be neutral on a moving train. Where did I get that deep quote? You might ask. Well, it's from a Pearl Jam song, but it's also a political quote of some kind from like Howard Zinn or something like that. I get all my wisdom from Pearl Jam songs, guys. That's the secret. Not too far from the truth. Growing up in the 90s with all the emotional grunge music. What are we at? We're at 10 o'clock. All right, let me check my schedule, see what's going on. Oh, schedule says make comics, so we're still just going to make some comics. I don't think anyone else needs the stream, so I'm just going to go a little longer. Thanks again for the suggestion of You're Gonna Die Fly being in the boardroom. Helped a little bit. Oh, so just to continue, if you're still listening, or if you're wanting to hear my thoughts more, I guess I'm just talking out loud to myself. When I think about the audience of VeeFriends, then I think to myself, okay, then there's these other people that just think it's fun, and they're like, "This is cool, and I want to be a part of this. It makes me feel good. I like it. It makes me laugh. It makes me think, and the people are awesome, and I just want to be a part of that community. I want to vibe with that, and I vibe with that. I like that. All the great communities I've ever been involved with were that. People just trying to do good or have fun or help each other. I like that a lot. So that's a whole other segmentation that I see out there. And there's just people that are doing good and they're generous. You know, some people have good success in their businesses and they're just like looking for something to do. And this gives them an inspiration to do more. And that's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. And then we talk about, therefore, if I know that we want to create new people, new readers for VeeFriends, then discovery is important, but we got to discover them where they're living. It could be, where were you right before you chose VeeFriends? That's where we need to find new readers and new fans, new community members. I don't even like to say readers or fans or customers, or where can we find new members for our community that don't know what VeeFriends is? And it would probably be looking for people that are looking for a community. Where are they? Where are they currently looking for a community? Social media is a good route, but is it enough to just post on social media and kind of like spray and pray, approach? It could be. Definitely on TikTok for sure. People come and go and they go, "What is this?" We've had a few people follow um, from TikTok that are just like popping in and seeing like, "What is this? What's read comics and say hi and all that? What is this? This is cool." We had a fella buy an NFT for the first time or something right off the stream, so that was interesting. Like never tried that before, right? It's cool. So that's where my mind is like, how do we get more people to know about VeeFriends and become members of the community? That's the top of my mind when I'm drawing comics. And oh no, what happened? Let's go. Cool. There's going to be a balloon here. All right, cool. Bisexual barista. Hey man, I'm sorry about your car. See, that's another fun part for me is like I see the names and I go, oh man, I saw your post about your car getting jacked. Someone smashed in his car and took his computer, but they didn't take your VeeFriends hat. So good day. Morning, Megan. lot of people are coming in right when I'm usually like 8:30 to 10, an hour and a half. But if I still got some juice in the tank here, I'm gonna keep going. Because my schedule today basically just says draw comics, make comics. So this is good. I did a lot of writing yesterday, and I'm gonna try and segment my days up a little bit differently, I think. Could be good to do like a day of writing and nothing but writing. It's hard for me to do that because like I just want to dive right into the comics, but you also want the characters and the story to be cool. If you see today's comic, let's take a look at that real quick. I'm gonna reset the stream. Let's do it. Today's comic is Flex and Fox on an airplane. If you see this out there, especially on Instagram, make sure you share it. Share it up. Comment, like it. Helps more people find it. Fox has got the 5,000 followers this week. He's all excited. 555 fans like, wow, that's great, man. And then B's just chilling, like watching. And 555 fans always looking for, he's rooting you on, but he's also building his own brand. And Fox is like, it's simple. Give you some tips. You got to keep it authentic. Mm-hmm. And then the B's like, he knows the truth. So the B's like, be honest now. Okay, I confess. And he's looking a little sheepish. And then he says they think I'm big in real estate and that I own this private jet. He's like, but this isn't a jet. And it pans out, they're like in like a set. And B's like, exactly. Bye. And I told that story earlier in the stream, but I'm not going to retell it all. But just the fact that it is super funny that I knew I knew of a company that would charge these, Instagram influencers to come on this little trip through the desert, and they would like rent out an Airbnb mansion or something like that and do a photo shoot with they would pack these guys and girls, mostly girls, in the buses. And I know this story because the girl was telling me, like, I don't know if it was worth the $500. You had to pack your own lunch. They didn't provide food. They drove them through the hot desert with the air conditioning was wonk. And then basically just, there was a semi-decent photographer with them that could take really cool. You could bring your own stuff and take pictures out in the desert or in the mansion, and it wasn't real. It wasn't like your mansion. So, I never looked at, after working in that space for a little while, I never really looked at online stuff the same way again. I was like, is this real? Is this fake? I don't know. To really kind of know the person. Can't wait for. Actually, I haven't read, Gary's new book's coming out real soon. I got it pre-ordered over on Amazon. I kind of have a feeling for what it's going to say, not because I've previewed it or anything. But I kind of have a feeling based on everything I see Gary doing and also just some of the content I've seen lately, that it really doubles down into leaning into something that you can talk about. Not just that you're passionate about, but something that you could really talk about, and then just getting real with it, like turning a camera on and going live, and you know, getting that attention. You're there, you're live, you're engaging with your fan base, you're building slowly, and the more at bats you have at that, the bigger it becomes. So you start out with I did a live stream drawing channel thing on my YouTube channel where when I first started, 7 o'clock in the morning stream. So it's just like ridiculous. Like, who's going to show up for that? Well, dedicated artists. That's who I'm trying to find. Like, people that really want, you know, accountability to show up as a community. They know I'm going to be there at 7 a.m. And at first, there was probably 5 people watching, and then 9 people watching, and then now we've grown, I think, to about 17 or 18. It's still very small, but I see the numbers going up, and I don't even really think about the numbers because I'm like, you know what? I think it's pretty cool that something that I'm putting some energy into is helping it's helping somebody get motivated and energized, encouraged. And then I get to kind of come to work here and do that through the comics in a certain way. Hopefully the comics that we're putting out, or the things that we put out, become some sort of top of mind for you. Like, the next time you see one of my goals with when I make a comic is that the recall of things. Like, if you see something in the strip that you're like, oh, I remember that. I wonder if this product is like that in that comic. Or they will be a good thing to think about. Well, the next time somebody brings up honesty, like, hey, I need your honest opinion. Will you think about the honest honeybee? That would be some powerful stuff. Right. When you hear the word patience, do you think of the panda? Right. Or some situation that the panda was in? Because I already do that. My wife's probably like, I can just, she's all right, but I can just feel her groaning if I'm like, if we're dealing with something in life and I'm like, we just got to be a patient panda. Or, self-aware hair. And I told her, I'm like, I'm going to speak in VeeFriends language probably for the rest of our life. I think that's one of the jobs to be done. Is how do we get people speaking in this language? And do other people think, like, what the heck is DJ talking about? He just said something like people in my life that don't know what VeeFriends is. If I'm at the coffee shop yesterday and it took a long time to get my sandwich, and I'm like, I'm a patient panda. They'll be like, that guy's weird. I don't care, Megan. I'll do it. I think I might have even said that down there at the coffee shop. I was like, oh, no, I'm a patient panda. I'm calling it. I get weird looks all the time sometimes when I That guy's a flexing fox. What? What does that mean? Well, let me tell you about VeeFriends, everybody. Get rid of this person. It's not necessary. The bee has flown over. I'm not really worried about that. I'm just gonna ink these two guys up real quick. And I messed that up. Put those pencils on the wrong layer. Let's do cut and paste. Inks. Bare minimum Bob has kind of like a J nose, like a broken J. A little bit, those teeth are a little bit, you know. You did the bare minimum. The dentist. Someone asked me again, where's the best place to read the comic strips every day? And I would say, well, you know, they come out on social, on all of VeeFriend socials, usually around 8:30 in the morning or sometime in the morning, um, on all the channels. But I'll show you real quick a little trick that we have. If you're on the VeeFriends website and you go to all characters and you just click a character here, let's go to Alert Ape. You can click the Alert Ape character, and then here's a comic corner, and you can see all the strips that the ape is in. You can download a version to print out if you'd like. Share it. Please share it. And then there's tags here so that you can see all the times that characters have appeared. Here's Cynical Cat strips, if I've tagged them properly. Sometimes we forget to tag them, but most of the times the characters have appeared in the strip, they're in them. And then up in this top corner here, you can hit Comic Corner, and now you've got, you know, the archive of the past. So you can go back and look through everything from January till now, right? So they're all there. You can just jump in if you want and hit older, previous, kind of go through that. Give it a second to load. My iPad might be a little slow. Nope, here we go. So the VeeFriends website will probably be linked up there in the top. You can see it. It's actually linked now. Comic Corner right there. So if you're looking for a way to kind of dive in and look through, some things aren't tagged because they're hidden. So have fun finding that stuff. I can't say what because, you know, then it wouldn't be a surprise. Or am I being honest? Yes. I'm not trying to trick you into going and like scouring the comics, but you know, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to scour through some, you know. Who knows what you might find hiding out in the comic strips. It gives me an idea. I'm gonna write that down. I like the idea that Bearman and Bob got a job, and he thinks he's happy with this job now. And you know, old habits die hard. Bob. You know what? He's looking too proper there. Experimenting with Bob, he's got to have more of a disheveled collar. Oh, I'm looking at it. Look at that. I don't like to wear ties. I'm just gonna say that out loud. If you see me wearing a tie, you know I must madly respect whatever I'm doing. You know, just not a fan of it. Not a fan of wearing ties at all. Feels like I'm being strangled. Us cartoonists are wild beasts. We need to be untethered and, you know, only tie us to the drawing board. I wonder why that is. When I was a kid, if I think about suits, and I'm just going down that storyline now. Story time. My parents used to make me go to church, Sunday school, and then make me wear a suit. Brown suit. It was a terrible looking suit. Didn't fit well. I hated it. That's my memories of suits. I think ever since I was 8 or 9, maybe even older than that. I think when I was like 12, 11 or 12, they would put your suit on. Time to go to church, and I'd be like, "Oh, no, don't want to wear a suit." Felt so out of place. That was the late 80s. 1988, 87, something like that. Oh, suits. What are you gonna do? Hey, Thomas Toil, thanks, man. Kyle, hello, over on X. What's up, guys? I have a lot of story times on this, Megan. If I'm drawing a suit and I'm like, what kicks off my thoughts about suits? I'm like, oh, I hate suits. Why do I hate suits? Oh, it used to make me wear suits when I was a kid, and I hated it. But thinking about that stuff, stream of consciousness, sometimes I gotta bite my tongue a little bit. I'm not gonna just tell all the stories. Can't do that. Some things are better left unsaid, but how can I be kind with some stories. Don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or, you know. I only try to tell insightful or funny stories. Nothing that's going to hurt anyone's feelings. It's probably a good rule. I was also thinking lately about people that were in my life in the past and that kind of come back around. Isn't that weird? And my German friends would say when someone would leave the company, or they'd always say, it's a German saying, I guess, you always meet twice. I don't know how to say it in German, but you always meet twice. So then when people would leave that company, I would always greet them with that, even if they were American, or depart with that. I'd be like, you always meet twice. So you always try to leave on good terms. That's kind of the lesson there. You don't want to burn the bridge on the way out, because it's a small world. And in my experience, and I'm just going to add on to my German friends, I think you might meet way more than twice. I've encountered different people in different chapters of my life 3 or 4 times. But you always meet twice, is what the Germans say. You at least, maybe they're saying like you at least always meet twice. So be nice. Behave. Be nice. Be kind. Steve, sometimes I worry about the stories I'm telling. I feel like someone's going to try to figure me out or something. Like, you said this on a stream once, and I'll be like, oh man, I don't even know it. We know you hate suits, DJ, so we're not going to ask you to make. I'm like, oh no. I said that I'll wear it if you see me wearing a suit, because I mad respect whatever it is. I will wear a suit. So please, anybody listening and taking notes so that you try to make me happy or something, I'm telling you. It's usually only funerals. But there are other events that I know you have to wear a suit. There's some restaurants and things, certain situations that you gotta adapt to it. I'm very much aware. Nothing I say, I should have a disclaimer, nothing I say on these streams is these are not facts. These are just stories from DJ's life or experiences. They are not necessarily the opinions of the VeeFriends, even though I'm very much talking about VeeFriends and how we can be nicer to each other. Wouldn't be interesting without stories, The comics, they come and go. Oh, see, I didn't put my. It says make comics. Usually I put that on theater mode so that you can't see any top secret meetings. I don't think there's any top secret meetings today. Maybe later on. What's this? Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. Can't talk about that. All right. Check my messages. Technically, I'm supposed to be off, so make sure nobody's trying to get a hold of me. I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something, It's kind of the typical working life of how we live at work today. You're always afraid you're going to miss a message or an email or something like that. Great. Sweet. Very cool. All right, guys, 10:30. I'm going to clock out and go get some other stuff done. Please check the comics out. Share today's comics, please. Please, come on. Share the comic. You know you want to share this comic. Tell people about this comic. Did you see that he's wearing the faux necklace at the very end? Come on, man. It's awesome, guys. Appreciate you guys watching. Thank you over on TikTok as well and all the other channels. Been at it for a couple hours here. I'm going to go refill my coffee. It's #1 mission. And charge up the old Apple Pencil. And I'll be back here Friday morning, 8:30 a.m. for more comics and talking and stories and hanging out with the community, learning about you guys, and appreciate you. And that's it. Let's get back to the drawing board after I take a little break. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.